Hey, what's going on, guys? Check it out. So today is going to be pretty casual. I'm going to be talking about something that happened a while ago, maybe a few weeks ago. I can't remember exactly the timeline. But anyway, so Kanye West released this. I know that's a crazy way to start off a sentence. But Kanye West released this, well, not really a release, but it was a video release kind of, circulating the internet. And he was playing a keyboard. He kind of created this track, but he took a sample from a gospel song and brought some other elements in. He had like some tribal drums kind of going, and he had a choir behind him. They were wearing like all white, and it was like this crazy jam, this crazy groove. So it just inspired me and sparked something in me to create a bass line on top of what he was doing. And if you guys been following me for any length of time, you know that I like to do collaborations. If you follow me on my social media like Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and things like that, you know that I like to do collaborations. So I like to play with different people or people that I never played before. And that's one of the elements that I tell you guys a lot. So playing along with something that you've never played before, that used to be my practice. Playing with a radio, just turning the radio on and playing any song that came on, that was my practice. Or trying to play the bass line to any song, that was my ear training, that was my practice. But anyway, so I'll show you guys the line or exactly what I'm talking about. So here it is. So that video got a lot of attention, more than I ever thought it could possibly get when I posted it online. But I got a lot of requests from people asking me to break that bass line down. And you guys know I had to give it to you first. So in this lesson, I'm going to be breaking it down, showing you the concept and showing you my thought process during this creation of this bass line. So here we go. So first and foremost, let me save you guys a lot of time. This bass line is strictly the C# minor pentatonic scale. That's all it is. Literally, it's a really creative way to play the C# minor pentatonic scale, or just a pentatonic scale, because if you notice, the song is in the key of C#. All he's doing is hitting those hits, okay, and then it's kind of open in the middle of that. So I'm thinking, like, my thought process as a bass player, okay, that whole part is open. Something can be there. I know the choir is going, they're doing the ayo, 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 whatever they're doing, right? So that bass line or that part was just like empty to me, and I just heard it, and I just was like, I was struggling to be able to create a bass line, but I knew something needed to go there. It didn't necessarily need it. It was nice how it was already, but I was like, maybe I can just add a little bit of something, but I wanted to add to it without butchering it, okay? And that's another thought process of mine. Whenever you add to music, you don't ever want to take away from the music. You always want to add to the music. You want to musically add to it. You don't want to take away from it. You don't want to step on anybody's toes. You don't want to step on any of the other instruments of what they're doing. So in my thought process, I was thinking maybe, I thought more of an African tribal type of dance, type of beat or music, where they had this low note just kind of pedaling, just kind of droning. And I can have that pedal, but I said, how, that wouldn't be that interesting if the bass was just doing that and that was it. So I said, let me come up with a bass line to try to manipulate that type of sound and that repetitiveness as far as the drone, to be able to recreate some type of feeling. So I thought maybe I can just repeat a bass line over and over again, so it will sound the same. It'll flow. So that's when I came up with just playing this phrase or this rhythm as far as this bass line. But anyway, let's get into it. When I say it's literally the C# minor pentatonic scale, let's go over that really quick. So we got C#, E, F#, G#, B, and then we're back home to C#, and then you can start it all over again. If you're extending this scale, you're going to do E, F#. If you were to keep going, you got G#. Okay, so that's the scale that I use inside of this song. So let me play the bass line real quick if I can remember it. So that was it. Okay, so so all of those notes are inside of the minor pentatonic scale. I'll put the notes here on the screen so you can see exactly which notes that I'm using. So if I call out a note that's not on there, call me out on it. All right, I want you to comment below and call me out on the note that I say that's not there. Okay, so we have F sharp, G, B, E, F sharp, higher F sharp octave, and then back to the 5 of that C sharp minor pentatonic scale, which is the G sharp, and then come back down to the C sharp, B. All right, every single note I'm saying so far is in there. And then at the end of that, it's going to be that E. So I'm breaking it down in different sections. Okay, I want to group this in different sections. So I want to do, that's one section. Next section. Next section. What was it? That's the next section. So 3 different sections of this. Okay, so I wanted to take this slow and actually give you guys the notes, which all the notes will be exactly the same. Now, the trick to the sound and the tone that I had in this clip was contributed by the new MXR vintage bass octave pedal. It has 2 levels of different octaves. I mean, it's completely crazy. So I didn't want to go overboard with this, you know, with the sound or with the octave or too much bass. So I used the first knob. The first octave, I have that kind of, you know, maybe around halfway, and then the dry signal I have about halfway. So I didn't want to overdo it too much, you know. And that second octave I maybe had just turned just a little bit up, just to give it that, you know, that bottom end, that bigger bottom end. Okay, so I had that pedal playing it at the same time. I figured that would give it a nice vibe as well. When I played it without it, you know, it sounded great, but when I pressed that pedal down, I got a completely different vibe. See what I mean? All right, guys, sorry about that. I know I'm making this longer than it should be. So for that case, I'm going to break this up into 2 sections or 2 parts. We're going to be going over the next part of this bass line in the next lesson. So stay tuned for that. It's not that much left, so I'll see you there.